The Tennessee Titans choke again. That and more on today's edition of Locked On Titans.
You are Locked On Titans, your daily Tennessee Titans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Titans podcast. I am your host, Tyler Rowland. Titans fans, today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. The Tennessee Titans choke once again and drop to 0-2, losing to the New York Jets 24-17, and it feels like the same old for the Tennessee Titans. Will Levis continued to hurt the team on Sunday, but Calvin Ridley and Ernest Jones look fantastic. So we're going to get into all of it on today's recap edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. Thank you for making Locked On Titans your first listen each and every day. Remember, Monday through Friday, Tennessee Titans content all year round, always for free. You're not going to beat that anywhere else. Make sure that you get subscribed, stay subscribed. It's your team every day here on the Locked On Titans podcast. Look, I don't know what else to say about it. They absolutely choked like dogs once again. And look, this time, Will Levis made another face-melting mistake once again, but he wasn't alone in this game. And ultimately, again, for me, it just feels like the same old Tennessee Titans. It's the same old BS that we were sick of with Mike Vrabel, and I'm sick of it through 2 weeks already. Number one, the offense, awful for most of the game. I mean, they hit the play to Ridley, couple of plays here and there. But at the end of the day, they could barely move the ball consistently at all. Once again, it's the same exact thing. Early down efficiency. The Titans were terrible on early downs. And then they have third and longs. And then the Jets pass rush, which lost Jermaine Johnson in the game, which didn't have Hassan Reddick, destroyed the Titans front. Now, you're going to look at the numbers. We're going to go over them tomorrow, I guarantee it. And it's not going to look too bad for the offensive line. But that's because Will Levis was trying to get the ball out as fast as possible. There was pressure nonstop. So the Titans can't run a regular drop-back passing game because the pressure's getting there so quick. They're not running the ball efficiently on early downs, especially in the second half. I think it was at one point the Titans went 3 and out. 4 out of their 5 first drives in the second half. 4 out of their first 5 drives, they went 3 and out. So the offense is inconsistent. And let's just say, after Will Levis made that critical mistake early in the game, throwing the ball backwards for no reason at all, what are we doing? And if you saw what Brian Callahan had to say to Will Levis coming off the field, well, that was even more harsh than what I got to say. And good. What in the world are we doing, Will Levis? What are we doing? So, zero consistency from the offense and running on first down, just running on first down over and over and over. And then you're in second and long. And then there's pressure, and Will Levis gets rid of it and throws it for 2 yards. And now you're in 3rd and 7. And it's just over and over again. It feels like I'm stuck in a nightmare. So the offense, incredibly inconsistent, unable to put up more than 17 points. And then the kick in the face. Things are not going well. Then the kick in the face. You get a punt blocked. Jets block another punt. Another punt blocked. What an embarrassment. I mean, this team can't even go out there and not get a punt blocked in a game. Is that what we have to watch every week? This team cannot even prevent a punt block. Can't even prevent a punt block. I mean, it's embarrassing. It is embarrassing that we wanted a new team. We thought it was a new day. And then the Titans go out and literally piss the bed 2 weeks in a row. So offense, incredibly inconsistent. Special teams makes a huge blunder, a big mistake. And then what happens? And then the defense breaks down. The defense had been holding all game long. The defense had been working all game long. That's what happens. The defense trying to hold the game together as the offense and the special teams pisses down its leg. And then what happens? The defense breaks. The defense gives up a long run to Breece Hall. The defense gives up a long catch to Garrett Wilson on a 3rd and short. The defense gives up a big run to Braylon Allen at the end of the game to give the Jets the game-winning touchdown. The defense was incredible for most of the game. But same old Titans. This is the same thing that happened last year. This is the same thing that happened in 2022. The offense is putrid and inconsistent. The special teams makes a huge critical mistake. And then the defense that played well for most of the game breaks down at the end. It's just a repeat. We have watched this show on rerun so many effing times. It's just so annoying and so disgusting. I'm just so sick of this same outcome over and over, where the offense has no consistency, the special teams makes a big mistake, and the defense, who played well most of the game, breaks down at the end. It is Groundhog Day for the Tennessee Titans. Will they ever score over 17 points again? Now, I will say a couple of things real quick to try to brighten your spirits in any way that I can. Jacksonville lost to the Browns. How does that happen? The Colts got smoked by Malik Willis. How does that happen? So look, hey, we're the ugly duckling, but we're not swimming in the pond alone. But it's just so frustrating to think that this is a new era of the Titans. We're getting a brand new coach, a bunch of new players. They're changing the scheme. They're changing the philosophy. But at the end of the day, things are still exactly the same. The offense can't do a dang thing. The special teams makes a huge critical mistake, and the defense breaks down at the end of the game. The Titans absolutely should have won this game, and they choked it away just like they did in week 1. And this is the kind of stuff that when the Titans are 6-8 and essentially eliminated from playoff contention, we'll look back and be like, they blew it in the first 2 weeks. You can't make the playoffs in the first 2 weeks, but you could sure lose the playoffs in the first 2 weeks. And I think the Titans have done just that. So it's time for Tighten Up, Tighten Down. We're going to start with Tighten Down. Before we do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the easiest and most fun way to play daily fantasy sports. That's why they have over 5 million active members. Look, here's what you do. You look at the PrizePicks projections. They have a stat projection for every player. These are just examples, like mock examples, but Will Levis, 1.5 interceptions. Calvin Ridley, 5.5 catches. Tony Pollard, 60.5 rushing yards. All you do is pick 2 to 6 players and say whether they're going to do more or less. All right? PrizePicks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy as well, so that your lineup stays in play even if one of your players gets injured. Make sure that you download the PrizePicks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONNFL on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly. When you play $5, you don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. Today's episode is also brought to you by DoorDash. Look, I love DoorDash. I use DoorDash every single week. I love getting my lunch delivered from DoorDash, delivered through DoorDash, with DoorDash. And it's not even just meals. I mean, of course, you can get a meal. You can get groceries. You can get retail items. Whatever you need, you can get it at DoorDash. Football is finally back, which means it's time to order your favorite game day food, snack, and drinks on DoorDash without missing a play. Use the promo code LOCKEDBALL24 for 50% off up to a $10 value when you spend $15 or more on your first order. Limited time only. Terms apply. Promo is valid for orders that don't contain alcohol. DoorDash, your door to game day greatness, your door to more. Download the DoorDash app now to order your game day favorites. Must be 21 plus to order alcohol. Drink responsibly. Alcohol only available in select markets. Titans fans, let's continue today's recap of the Tennessee Titans 24-17 choke job. No other way around it. Same old from the Tennessee Titans. Inconsistent offense, special teams mistake, defense that breaks down. Now let's get into some individual performances in this game. We're going to talk tighten up, tighten down. Let me know your tighten ups and your tighten downs down below. But we got to start with Will Levis. I mean, look, Will Levis played better in this game. He played better towards the end of the game. 19 for 28, 192 yards, had the long touchdown, had the interception, which we'll talk about the interception. Took 4 sacks on the day. I would say one of them was his fault. But again, the fumble. Like, at some point, he has to stop making these mind-numbing mistakes. Now, the most frustrating thing with Will Levis, the most frustrating part about Will Levis right now, the most frustrating part is that other than the fumble, when he's fallen down to the ground and throws a lateral behind him, what are you doing? What are you doing? And again, Brian Callahan had very choice words for him coming off the field. Other than the mind-numbing the mind-numbing turnover with the fumble, Will Levis didn't play too bad. Will Levis did not play that bad. Will Levis played actually pretty decent besides that stupid mistake. But here's the problem, is that one stupid mistake overrules everything you've done. That's how life works. You can do 9 good things, but if the 10th one is despicable, it ruins the 9 good things you've done. I don't care how well Will Levis played outside of that mistake, because you make that stupid mind-numbing mistake once again, and you choke the game. So, yeah, and listen, I'll even say this. The interception that Will Levis threw, I think that's more on Treylon Burks. You got to make a play, Treylon Burks. What are we doing? The ball hits him in the hands, and then he lets the Jets' 4th-string cornerback rip it away from him. So, at some point, you got to help your quarterback, okay? At some point, you got to help your quarterback. But, man, it's just not good enough. He was not good enough. Man, that mind-numbing mistake. Again, it doesn't matter if you play pretty well early and you kind of get things going late. But when you make a stupid mistake like he made in this game, and remember, the Titans are driving. They're in the red zone. All you got to do there is take a sack and you get a field goal. And how much does a field goal change the game if the Titans are up 20-17 on the Jets' last offensive drive? How much does that change the game? So, obviously, a Titan down for Will Levis, who is killing his team. But also, we got to give a Titan down to Brian Callahan. I'm going to be the one to say it. Terrible play calling. I know that he was scared to death of Will Levis, but running the football on 1st down over and over and over again for a 2nd week in a row. Now, I'll give Brian Callahan credit. He went to more play action. He went to more play action in this game. But really why I want to give a Titan down to Brian Callahan is because he decided that this football team didn't need special teams players. He cut Matthew Jackson. He cut Hassan Haskins. he cut a guy like Anthony Kendall. Why? For 2 tight ends who haven't even been active. You got Julius Chestnut out there who gets beat and gets the punt blocked. Julius Chestnut sucks at special teams. That's why Hassan Haskins was kept over him by Mike Vrabel. Because you don't need your third running back in Julius Chestnut to run the ball. You need him to play special teams. And if you want to keep Julius Chestnut, fine. But you kept Thomas Odukoye over Hassan Haskins, and now your special teams units suck? Well, probably because you got rid of all of your good special teams players for guys like Thomas Odukoye, who absolutely should never be on this roster. So it's a tighten down for Will Levis for the stupid mind-numbing mistake, but it's a tighten down for Brian Callahan for the way that this roster was put together and the lack of special teams focused players. And then finally, not finally completely, but the final big three and Jeffrey Simmons. Jeffrey Simmons had a pretty good game, but Jeffrey Simmons makes the critical mistake of hitting Aaron Rodgers, and people are saying, oh, he went to put his hand up and he hit Rodgers' hand and then it slid off and hit his face mask. I don't care. It's 3rd and 15. Why are you even close to his face? I don't care. That's a mistake. And then Sauce Gardner on a 3rd and short beats L'Jarius Sneed deep on the sideline in the 4th quarter. So it's Will Levis with a mind-numbing mistake. It's Brian Callahan with the roster construction. It's Jeffrey Simmons with the mind-numbing mistake. It's L'Jarius Sneed letting the Titans down on a critical 3rd down and 1-on-1 against Garrett Wilson. It's the Titans' most important people on the team. The coach, the quarterback, the defensive star, the top-paid corner, who choked when the Titans needed him most. Now, I'm going to be honest. Dylan Radin's terrible in this game. I thought Nicholas Petit-Ferrer was also bad in this game. Julius Chestnut is the reason the punt got blocked. And Treylon Burks has to find a way to make a play on that football. He doesn't. He gets beat by Eccles, who? The 5th-string cornerback from the Jets. Treylon Burks can't get over the top and make that play. So, plenty of tighten downs, plenty of disappointment. This team should be 2-0, and they choked like dogs in both the games. And this is the kind of stuff. This team doesn't know how to win football games. They don't know how to close, and that stuff doesn't get fixed overnight. And if they lose to Malik Willis at home next week, panic button. This team, panic button. Some people are ringing it now, and I get it, but I'd love to get to the bye week and see where things are, but they have a disaster ahead of them next week if they don't get this cleaned up. Now, on the bright side, I know nobody wants to hear the bright side, but Calvin Ridley was incredible once again, and Ernest Jones looked fantastic as well. I'm going to give some tighten ups to close out the show. Before I do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Gametime is the best place to buy tickets. And now it's even better because they have a new feature called Gametime Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Gametime Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I'm going to the Titans-Packers game this weekend, and I bought those tickets on Gametime. Certainly reconsidering that decision at this moment in time, but nonetheless, the ticket buying experience was fantastic because Gametime has great features like a view from your seat. If you toggle on the feature, you can get all-in pricing so you know what you're going to pay when you look at the seats and the Gametime guarantee. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Gametime. Titans fans, let's cap off today's recap edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. Tennessee Titans lose to the New York Jets 24-17. It's the same old plan for the Tennessee Titans. Offense sucks, special teams blunder, defense wears down, and it looks exactly the same like last week, looks exactly the same as the last few years. Will Levis let the team down with another stupid mistake? Brian Callahan doesn't have enough good special teams players on this team. Jeffrey Simmons with a critical mistake that leads to Jets points. Punt block leads to Jets points. L'Jarius Sneed gets beat on a critical third down. The Titans' most important people letting them down. But look, let's finish out with a little bit of positivity because there are some silver linings here for the Titans. Number one is Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley looked awesome in this game. 6 targets. He caught 4 of them. 77 yards. Had a touchdown. The big catch on the 40-yarder. Look, the long catch, I guess he dropped it. No way other than to say that Calvin Ridley dropped it. It did go through his hands. Fair enough. That's a drop. But I'm not blaming Calvin. Calvin Ridley played great in this game. Calvin Ridley played great last week, too, and should have had 100 yards and a touchdown in that game if Will Levis doesn't literally drift to the pressure and steps up in the pocket and makes a throw. Calvin Ridley has been as advertised. He had a 19.3-yard average on his catches today. Calvin Ridley was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic in this game. Not only that, Tony Pollard was fantastic in this game. 17 carries for 62 yards. That's only 3.6 yards per carry, but Tony Pollard ran hard in this game, and he got more than I thought was blocked for him. Not only that, but he had 5 catches for 40 yards. So he went over 100 yards on the game. I thought Tony Pollard was really good in this game. I thought Tony Pollard and Calvin Ridley have been as advertised. I also think that a guy like J.C. Latham played well in this game. I thought, now, with offensive line play, you got to go back and double check. No doubt about it. You have to. But I thought J.C. Latham played pretty well in this game. It wasn't his side of the offensive line that was crumbling every time. It was NPF and Dylan Radins, who didn't play well in this game either. So I thought Latham, got to go back and look, but I thought Latham played well in this game. I do. I thought Skoronski played pretty well in this game as well. So going to have to go back to the film and check, but, it wasn't all terrible, okay? Not only that, but on the defensive side of the ball, I thought Ernest Jones was incredible. Ernest Jones was everywhere in this game. He had 9 tackles. Kenneth Murray got a little bit banged up at one point during the game, but Kenneth Murray and Ernest Jones are the starters now. Jack Gibbons been demoted. Let's see how Kenneth Murray's feeling. I thought I saw him finish the game, but Ernest Jones was so good in this game. I cannot believe the Titans got him off the Rams for a late-round pick swap. 9 total tackles, 2 tackles for loss. Just a great game from Ernest Jones. And Harold Landry. Harold Landry was phenomenal. He had 2 sacks. He knocked down a few passes at the line of scrimmage. Harold Landry was great in this game. I thought, although Jeffrey Simmons made the stupid mistake and hit Aaron Rodgers' face mask, Jeffrey Simmons played pretty good in this game. T'Vondre Sweat and Jeffrey Simmons both up the middle held pretty well for most of the game. They wore down at the end. Absolutely happened. But, for the most part, it was a good game. I thought Roger McCreary played very well in this game. Had another tackle for loss. Really good play on a Breece Hall play where he's able to get in and get him to the ground. I thought Roger McCreary played good in this game. So, again, that's what's so frustrating. Levis had really good moments in this game. Tony Pollard was good in this game. Calvin Ridley was good in this game. Ernest Jones, Jeffrey Simmons, Harold Landry, T'Vondre Sweat, Roger McCreary. There's a lot of good out there, and I think that's what makes it the most disappointing for me. When I think about these 2 losses, what is most disappointing to me is that the Titans have actually played pretty well. The Titans have actually played pretty well in certain areas. But special teams, Will Levis, mind-numbing mistakes. Oh, man. So frustrating to see them choke this way. Yeah, If people want to say that they would have won these 2 games if Will Levis wasn't their quarterback, maybe you're right. But if Will Levis isn't playing and they go to Mason Rudolph, just cancel the season. What are we doing here? If they've already decided that Will Levis isn't the guy and they want to go to Mason Rudolph and be done with Will Levis, then fold the whole season. At that point, I just want to tank anyway. I don't want to watch Mason Rudolph lead the Titans to 7 wins, 6 wins. What are we doing that for? It's a waste of time. So it's like how I feel about Bryce Young in Carolina. Let him play and see if he gets through it. And if he doesn't get through it, let him play so that you get a high pick for the next quarterback that you're going to take a chance on. But at the end of the day, my main takeaway here is same old nonsense from the Titans. Trash offense, stupid special teams mistakes, and a defense that can't hold out the whole game. Same old garbage. So frustrating, man. But tomorrow, I'm going to have the Mason Rudolph conversation. We'll go over the pros and cons. And I'll tell you this. If the Titans lose to Malik Willis next week, you can just fold up the season anyway. At that point, what are they playing for? I mean, what are they playing for? Losses like this are demoralizing to us. Imagine how the locker room feels. So incredibly disappointing. But with that being said, that is going to do it for me today, folks. Make sure that you get subscribed, stay subscribed, thumbs up on the video, tighten up down in the chat. As always, I am your host, Tyler Rowland, and this was Locked On Titans.